Welcome to the channel, Gaming Army. Let me ask you a quick question. How do you feel about UAVs? Do you always carry one, or is it lower on the priority list when you're choosing your consumables? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Right now, we're going to jump into the first of two drops today. This one is a domination match on Hibernal Rift, and it looks like the enemy team had started to NASCAR. I swung a little wide looking for stragglers, and sure enough, we found ourselves a direwolf, and it's an ultraviolet to boot, and we're just going to focus him down and punch through that center torso. Did get a little support from my Warhammer friend, and now I'm going to move forward. I see there's a light of some sort out towards Delta 2, but I think the major concentration of enemies at this point is Delta 3 on the back side, and here comes a Sun Spider. We are going to take this fight just like we take his left torso. I'm getting lots of fire support, and down goes the Sun Spider. There's some enemy targets, just like I thought, on the backside, and this is where I wish I had better intel on the battlefield. I would have changed my decisions immensely. I was going for whatever the light was towards Delta 2, and I've managed to run into their missile units, and while it's not 2v3, it is actually 2v4. The two missile units are quickly joined by the Locust, and there's a third missile unit up on the high ground closer to Delta 3 that is raining on my parade, and this is where I wish, hindsight being 2010 and all, I had popped my UAV before I went around the corner. It would have given me a better picture as to what I was about to walk into. As it stands, I did get my UAV out, let my teammates know what was going on in that low ground slot area, but if I had had better intel as to the enemy disposition, I would have played that a lot differently. So jumping over into our King Crab friend, let's see if the team can come back from this. We're down 2 kills, so they've got to dig themselves out, and it looks like the enemy is starting to flow up and out of that Delta 3 area. The Pirate Spain is running around. I think he's in the low ground. Yep, there's a low signal, so he's still zipping around the board in the center here somewhere. And let's hope that my team has enough information that they can make better battlefield choices. Switching over to another teammate we pick up with our Thunderbolt. Well, there's an interesting build for ER Large and ECM. And there's our friend, the Nova Cat. Okay, so if our Thunderbolt can stay on that Nova Cat, he should be pretty hurt after our engagement. There's the Fafnir. And he was also in that low ground at the very end after I had gone down. So now there's a bigger cluster on the backside of Delta 3 that my teammates need to be aware of. Thunderbolt is wisely changing position and trying to come at them from a different angle. And this is why I say good intel is the key to good battlefield awareness. It's where are the enemy units piling up, and possibly what are the conditions and weapons loadouts on the individual mechs. It helps in the decision-making process, and that's why typically the first consumable slot on my mechs has a UAV. Now, it's good for light spotting and scouting. It's also good in the assault mechs to pop it before you round a corner, just like I demonstrated earlier. When you don't do that, you could be walking blindly into an enemy cluster. Now the Thunderbolt has ripped off 2 big kills right there, taking out the Nova Cat, finishing off the enemy Fafnir, and we are now tied up at 9 apiece. Can my team finish pulling this one off? Go, Thunderbolt, go. So they've got one down by the downed dropship, and there's that little Locust again. He is still zipping around the battlefield, making me wish that I had gotten more shots on him when I was in the slot before I went down. I was trying to take missile units off the board, but maybe I should have been firing on this little Pirate Spain, because he is a pain in the butt. He is definitely making things not easy as Thunderbolt backs off He's taking some damage now, and that's when there's the third enemy missile unit. That is interesting too. It's a catapult, LRM-15s, and a RAC-5. That's kind of a unique build. And he's definitely chewing through open components and armor on our Thunderbolt. Come on, Thunderbolt, stay with him. He's open CT. Let's see if he can land the kill shot, but that's when he's getting support from the Pirate's Bane. Okay, this is why everybody hates light mechs and ankle players, because they can be very, very frustrating. He is getting focused from multiple levels, last man standing, and it's just not enough. Switching over to our end screen, we wind up with 1 kill, 6 assists, 561 damage done. Let's see if we can do better on the next drop. Switching over to our next drop, this one has us playing Assault Mode on Canyon Network. And while my team NASCAR'd away from me, I'm kind of left protecting the 3 line, assuming that's where the enemy is going to push. I'm not really disappointed per se, because there comes an Executioner coming up over the Delta 4 right side, trying to get into the Echo line in the backs of my teammates. This shall not stand. Pre-fire doesn't work, but let's try again, because he doesn't know we're here. And sure enough, we punch through his rear torso for our first kill of the match. Now again, I am isolated over here on the left flank. I'm expecting the push down the 3 line by the enemy, and I'm banking on my ECM and firepower to keep me safe and make me somewhat of, hopefully, as big a speed bump as I can make my mech to be before I go down. But I'm playing very, very cautiously, expecting any moment to get swarmed by the enemy team. Pushing up to the high ground, I'm going to use the rocks here for cover. Surprisingly, I'm not seeing a lot of enemy units, at least on the high ground, and it looks like they're stuck on the ramp and not being super aggressive pushing out of there. And that's when I see 2 units. Timberwolf is trying to back off, but we're going to punch through his rear torso as well. And there's a Dire. Let's see if we can get some good damage in on that Direwolf. He's got missiles and lasers, and yeah, he's not liking that attention. We're getting some good damage done, and there goes his right torso. He's dropping off. No more. Oh, and there we do the tactical shutdown, and you know what that means. That means if you're liking the content thus far, why not hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, make sure you don't miss out on any of this future content, and I really appreciate you doing that and helping this channel grow and reach more mech pilots. Pushing out onto the high ground, this is not the situation I was expecting to find. I thought for sure they would be controlling the high ground at Delta 3, when instead they're locked into the low ground of Delta 3. It looks like their push stalled out on the ramp, and they've elected to go back into that low ground and turtle. And that is a horrible place to be, because now they are locked into a veritable kill box. My teammates are pushing in. I'm doing as much damage as I can. And what do we have here? We have some machine gun shenanigans from a light mech. Looks like an Incubus. He's dropping down to take on one of my friendly units, and I can't have him in my back, and I can't have him killing a friendly unit. So we're going to add some support fire and eventually get our kill on the Incubus. That's kill number 3 for this match. And now I can fully turn my attention to the enemy that is trapped in the low ground. I'm going to get a little bit of a different position here, make sure that my weapons can clear the ridge line, and that's when I see the King Crab. We're going to punch through his rear torso for kill number 4. In this scenario, if I had better intel on the battlefield as to where the enemy was, I would have played much more aggressively. As it is, we finish this one out with 4 kills, 6 components destroyed, 707 damage done.